Good afternoon, and welcome to the best of the 757 Community Talk Show with yours truly, Captain 85. Why don't you go ahead and hit that share button because we got some conversation today, some exciting stuff and some that's not so exciting. But nevertheless, we're going to do our best to bring you some information so that you be aware that on this station and network is all about sharing is caring. The reason why I put that up there first because that is the link that I like for y'all to share with people on your Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter. That's if you're on Facebook, I want you to join that page right there. That's my page that I do most of my broadcasting from, and want you to be able to not get notices every time it come on. But if you're on this page, then you will be able to see the things that I'm doing and working on. But you always know lately I've been posting a lot of videos, and that's because I try to get information out for people uh, that maybe never seen themselves when they were young. That's right, when they were young, not as they are today. And when they used to go clubbing or clubbing at Picasso's, Luxury Brown, Heartbreak Cafe. I only think I have just steals um, for the Club Royal Blue and main event because a lot of my other pages some of my pictures and other stuff were put in storage at one point, and I didn't keep them all. But nevertheless, I try to make sure that I keep our history because it's our history. When people try to paint you into a corner or in a box, they feel like, you know, this is what history does until you come or someone come along with the real story. And our young people shouldn't be put in a situation where they don't know their history, and especially in the 757, the seven cities, VA, two up and two down, because they always try to paint us as if we I'm not going to use the word I know what they're doing, but they try to make out that we're not responsible for bringing up our young people in a proper manner. But when we go out, we don't know how to act. That's why right now in the 757, you've been uh, reduced about maybe five, I'll say around about 10 clubs. And most of them are not clubs. They are sports bars that allow you to have dancing by your table. The only two places that still have a dance permit is upscales and the alley, and because they are grandfathered in. And what that means, when you're grandfathered in, it means that that you're able to they can't change the law. It takes a lot to do that. That's why it took so long. When we had Picasso's, we were the largest club in Virginia Beach. And right now we were the largest club in Virginia Beach. Upscale is the largest club as of today. But nevertheless, it's history. And that's what I try to do on Facebook with all the videos of different nights that people came to the club. Everybody has a problem, but our problem was bare minimum to what they tried to say. When I ran a club, Picasso's was open for 15 years. And when I do my research, the lies that they reported, the city and Wavy TV 10 was false information. And what I try to get people to say, if you don't do your research, you don't know what the truth is. See, TV and the news paint a picture for you. That's why Donald Trump get away with what he does. He paints the picture, true or false, but it's too late. When you think it's the truth, he's really giving you false information. And because he's a Republican and most of the people on the Supreme Court is Republicans, they allow him to get away with it. That's why our rights Our civil rights is being removed. That's why our history is being removed in schools. That's why they're banning books. That's why they're banning universities. You can't teach Black history. You can't do this. You can't do that. Until we learn how to stand up and join each other in the same common cause. There's no such thing as a Black person. There's no such thing as a white person. We are melanated. They are Caucasian. And as a fine artist major, you ask any artist, they'll tell you that. There's no Black or white person. Those are names they give us so you don't know who you are. When you begin to know who you are, then you know why they do that. But nevertheless, I just wanted to pop in today and, talk about some things. If you got any comments or questions you like to submit, please, don't hesitate to put it in the comment section, and I will relay it as we move along. And today, I want to talk about Joe Smith, because he's doing a camp, right? He's doing a basketball camp. And that basketball camp, the registration started May the 17th. I know some people said, well, you got the date wrong. It's after May. It started May the 17th. I didn't make the flyer. They did. And the price for people that want to have their kids to come to the camp. It starts July the 7th, which is next month. And the age is 11 for boys and girls. The age is going to be 8 to 12. That's the age group, 8 to 12. Now, if you want your young people to be a part of that, and that's going to be $99. That starts July the 7th. And the teacher is going to be Joe Smith. He's the one that's going to be teaching the skills and drills. He is a NBA legend and a Virginia Hall of Fame inductee, Joe Smith. And that's going to be located at 1045 19th Street in Virginia Beach. You can check that out by, Googling or calling the, city, because that's in partnership with the city of Virginia Beach, District 7, with Cash Green. And that's Camp Week. And July the 21st to the 25th, the boys and girls aged 13 to 18. And that's going to begin at 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. both days. But on that day, July the 21st and 25th, the ages 13 to 18, from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m., all skills and drills will be taught by the NBA legend and Virginia Hall of Famer inductee Joe Smith. And don't forget to let them know that you heard it right here on WVDM. That's right, WVDM Vaughn, the best of the 757 community talk show. It's so exciting to have such a legend, to be able to, that young people can get the drills and be taught, teach how to play basketball on a professional level for that very low price. For that very low price. Giving back to the community. That's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. And don't forget, if you see it, be on Facebook or his Instagram page, and tell him thank you and appreciate it. It's all about the youth. It's all about sharing and caring, giving positive things to our youth. And I'm going to put that person up there. Let me see. That's Miss Foster. How you doing? Thank you. I appreciate you, chiming in and letting us know how you feel about that. We try to inform the community of positive things here on the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. I've been knowing Joe Smith ever since he used to come to the club Picasso's all the time back in the day when he was available to do so. And yesterday, not only is he doing a basketball camp, let me show you this. So you will know that Cash Green is city council of the 7th district of Virginia Beach. And yesterday I went to cover Cash Green birthday party. And I don't know every place in Virginia Beach, but like I'm riding around for about 30 minutes trying to find a place. I thought it was a club or a bar or something, a restaurant, because it said come dressed to impress. I said, okay, well, I'm cool. I'm pretty good. I ain't gonna go out, like I ride at home. But when I rode around, went to the place, rode out the place, because you know why? It was a senior citizen place. Cash Green celebrated his birthday at the senior citizens place. And man, I was like, whoa, now that is something different that I never seen before. And that's what's giving back to the community. Like I don't do politics. Like I keep telling you, I go down to city council, I let them know before I get started to talking. I'm not a politician. I don't do politics. I'm a spiritual person. And for people that don't know what spirituality is, it's when you're blessed with, endowed with certain gifts that God give you. So I've been prayed over in church, filled with the Holy Ghost and all that. And I'm a Baptist. I've studied different religions, but I'm a Baptist from Fourth Baptist Church in Portsmouth, Virginia. And, it's always good to know that people know that, where I stand. I don't hate people. I'm not going to get into that platform. I don't do that. I don't care about if you're black, white, Filipino, Puerto Rican. I don't work and got friends in all nationalities. And I have more problems with our people than I have with the other nationalities. I really have. But why? I don't know. Some don't like me. I as my mom used to tell me, I might stay next door to you, but I'm not living on you. Everything I do, I work for. I strive for because it's in my DNA, just like it's in yours. But if you let the enemy trick you, you go into the pipeline to prison. That's why you see all the gun violence. That's the trick of the enemy. Everybody has the right to bear arms. All you have to do at 18 years old, go down there to the police department and get a permit, get it registered. Before you buy a gun, get the permit, then go get the gun training. For even now, I know in North Carolina, they have already proved 18 years old people can get a concealed permit. They can carry a gun concealed. Now, I ain't gonna tell you as a Afro-American or Negro or homie that you don't get a gun permit in Virginia. I ain't gonna tell you that. But in North Carolina, if you stay there, they passed the bill for 18-year-olds to get a gun permit. Concealed, not just a permit. It's hard for us to get a permit. Heaven knows if we get a concealed permit, it's gonna be all over for some people. But what I'm trying to say is this. Do it the right way. You have the right by the Constitution to bear arms. So when a policeman pull you over, if you got a gun in the car, if it's registered, keep your hands on the steering wheel because they already been trained, shoot to kill. And they don't talk about it, but they're trained to shoot to kill. Any slight movement, they'll take your life because you are a threat to their lives because they work for the city and the state. So they have legal right to take your life because they are afraid. Ask me, I'm just the messenger. So whenever I get stopped, pulled over, I ain't sitting there arguing with no police officer about I know my rights. See, that's a trigger mechanism. That's that trigger. Once you say that to a police officer, I know my rights. I don't care if you're rich, poor, black, or white. He's going to get an attitude. I don't want him to get an attitude. When a police officer approaches your car, this is what you should be doing. You should have your license and registration in your hand because he ain't talking to you. He's not stopping till you to get a cup of coffee. You should tell your kids, have your registration over your sun visor and your license. When you see those blue lights, put your blinkers on, slow down, put your light on inside the car. While you slowing down, make sure you got all your papers in place. And when you stop, go to a visible light or into a 7-Eleven or anything that's open 24 hours a day. Stop where there's traffic, where people can see what's going on. Because that's what I do. I didn't live to get my age being stupid. You don't live to get old. You don't live to get these gray hairs. That's why I don't shave it. To let you know, you don't grow up with this. You have to live through this. I done been through a lot of changes. I done been in a lot of situations with police. I'm not a saint. But I know one thing. I already know what they're going to do. I don't care what city I done been in. I've been in New York. I was in New York, you know, it's a lot of traffic. It's bumper to bumper. I'm going through the Bronx, going up the River Park Towers. The bus kept stopping in front of the police. I'm behind the police. It was 2 police in the car. The police that wasn't driving got out of the car, came over to my car, said, hey, what the F you up on my aid for? And I calmly rolled my window down, said, excuse me, sir, were you talking to me? I said, I stopped when the bus stopped. He started yelling and screaming and walked away. But if I got nasty with him, he'll drag me out of the car. I've been stopped several times in New York. Same thing. Hey, why'd you speeding? Speeding? I'm rolling with the flow of traffic. Weren't they speeding? I don't know. I don't see no signs. Getting me a ticket. I just pay it. I don't have time to be frustrated. What you're doing is, when you get angry and upset, you're changing your frequency, the way you see things, the way you learn, the way you think positive. You always have to think positive when you're dealing with external public, because that's what they are, the external public. And if you act like you above them, above the law, they're going to teach you a lesson. I've been arrested. I was arrested at Club Royal Blue. I was arrested at the Main Event. I was arrested at, where have I been arrested at? Oh, only place I ever been arrested at was the Heartbreak Cafe and Luxury Brown. Picasso, you know, they always were trying to get me. Left there, went to Chevy's in Chesapeake. Here I go again. But they ain't tried to arrest me. They just gave me a citation to come to court. You know, anywhere I go, because I know my rights. I know how to let them know that, hey, I'm not the one to play with. You can do whatever you want. You can get a ticket. We're going to court. If you make the mistake, because I don't play checkers, I play chess. You violate my rights, we're getting a lawsuit against you. And that you can do. You can either sue the individual or you can try to sue the city. Most times the city ain't going to cover it. But you can sue the officer. It's up to the judge if he wants to award you settlement or they settle out of court. That's on the judge. I don't tell people to disobey law. The law protects us all. You just got police officers that don't protect us all. Our Constitution has been violated ever since we've been in this, ever since they came to this land. We was already here. They don't want you to know that. That's why they do what they do. This is the North America. The United States is a corporation. So when you know everything that you get, every business you try to open is a corporation. And I try to explain to people, we are the original people, but they don't want you to know. So that's why they created the black and white thing. giving us different names to go by. But all you got to do is research the Bible, research what God said, research what he told Moses, the Israelites, and the Hebrews. You will know who you are. That's all these things that are happening with the weather. How many times this year, before this year, how many white tornadoes have you ever seen in your life? Now think back. How many white tornadoes have you seen before this year? You seeing 10 and 12 or 20 white tornadoes in one city? You seeing floods, people's houses being ripped off their foundation? That's God letting you know that he's tired of the foolishness. All we have to do is pray and believe and have faith in what God said to us. He made a promise. That's why Jesus came into the world. That's why he died on the cross. Yeah, we sinners. Don't forget it. Yeah, you're a sinner. I'm a sinner. The preacher's a sinner. The whole world is sinners. Nobody escapes that because this is the sinful world. And if it wasn't, there wouldn't be no need to be praying to Jesus because we will be where he is. We have to stop playing around and not knowing who we are. We know who we are when we're trying to get that money. When we're trying to sell something, everybody know I'm a salesperson. I'm a celebrity. You call yourself everything but a child of God. But a child of God. Now, you say, what makes you so roly holy? Because I know who I am. I didn't say I was free from all sin. I said I know who I am. That's why you have to pray in the name of Jesus and ask Jesus to go to his Father and ask him to forgive you for whatever you done. Yeah, you said, well, why do we keep doing the same thing? Because you're the one that is a sinner. You're the one that have to make the choice. That's why you have to humble yourself and know who you are. God sent his only begotten son so that you and I could have a chance for everlasting life. It doesn't matter what you say about me or what I think about you. It's all in what I believe about myself. The enemy is tricking you. Man, I don't like her. I don't like him either. I don't like none of them. I hate the whole family. You walking around destroying your frequency, your energy. You're being exposed. Walking around here with a gun. I don't need a gun. Don't you know your mouth is a weapon? Your mouth is a weapon. All you got to do is pray and leave it to God and watch what he does. You don't see what's going on? You don't see what's going on with this weather, temperature, stuff falling apart, stuff falling out the sky, fish and other mammals in the ocean coming up on the beach. Read your Bible. It's all in there. As the one guy asked me yesterday, say, hey, where is it? See, the thing is, we don't want to read. We don't want to do the research. But see, that's the thing about college. College teaches you that you have to research. You have to research. And I did a lot of researching when I was at Old Dominion University. And you have to use a scholar library. Yeah. See, when you go to college, you have a certain site you have to do, or you have to go to the library at Old Dominion University or whatever college you at. You have to use those books. That's research information, not just something you see on YouTube, like Donald Trump. That's fake news. That's fake news. Not when you go to scholars. When you go to scholar sites, and you can't even write a paper for college. They got certain sites you can go to on YouTube that you can do your research and do your research papers to turn in. But most of it's got to be done at the library over there at Old Dominion. So please Teach your children how to read. Train them while they're young so they grow older. They won't go wrong, because it's a shame it's on us. As a parent, it's on us to teach our young people the right from wrong. Our teachers are supposed to educate them so they can get a balance of learning how to read, write, multiply, the skills. They're not there to be talking back to the teacher. That's the first thing they should learn when they go to school. Keep your mouth closed unless the teacher asks you a question. Do not be talking in class once the class starts. And I tell my kids when they were kids, if I get a letter or any type of communication from your teachers, I'm going to call and find out what's going on. And if it's something I don't like, it's going to be lights out. I don't believe in never believed in beating my children. I put them on punishment, 2 or 3 times, but the third time, I don't beat you, whip you, unless it's something real serious. I got to really get your attention. But I will give you 10 to 20 licks in your hand. And every time you pull your hand back, you're going to get 5 more extra. I know it's hurting you, but it's hurting me more. Why? Because I don't want the police at my door talk about I got to inform you that your son has been murdered. I got to inform you that your child has been locked up for murder. Why don't you think for a moment? You can't bring a life back. Nobody can. Only God. You see all these kids down today, it's a shame and a crime. It's a shame. Our children deserve better management from a mother and father. I know people ain't gonna like what I'm saying, but hey, I tell it the way it is. I love my kids. I love your kids, and I don't even know them. That's why I do this talk show. Everything I do is for the kids to know. The videos, you might be in the club. They see you. Oh, you said that was me when I was young. We weren't fighting in the club. We had a good time. I was in college when I went to that club. Now, you are my grown child. I want you to have fun. I want you to have friends, but the right friends. You have to sit down and talk to the kids while they're growing. Because once they get a certain age, they call the police on you. Because that's what the law says. The law tells them, if your parents just pick up the phone, we can settle it. I'm just saying what needs to be said. Because all of my kids are grown. Graduated from high school and some college. And one is in college now while he's in the military, serving his country. I'm not bragging. I'm just telling the truth. Being a mother and a father ain't easy. But what happened is we, as parents, let our kids get in trouble. And as I call it, we have a pity party then. We want to keep their memory alive. I went to several 3 or 4 years ago. I said, I'm not going to no more weeks. My spirit said, look at what they're doing. They're releasing white balloons. They got white candles. Where do you see all that at? Where do you see balloons and candles at? At a celebration. So why are they out here in the dark with white balloons and candles saying I'm releasing this in remembrance of my son or daughter. Why didn't they do that when they were living? How many birthday parties do you give your children while they're living? That's the celebration, to let them know that you love them, you care about them. I don't know. I don't know what's right or wrong. I lost my daughter last year. And some of you might know her as Vashonda Vaughn, Vashonda Ewer, Vashonda White. That was my daughter. Last year, she passed away. Her birthday was June the 20th, 1982. And the sun set on her last year, June 28th, 24. That's why I talk and dedicate the work I do, which I've been doing way before I met her mother and way before I got married. I've been doing this since the 70s. I don't know why, but that's what I started doing. In remembrance of mothers that lost their children. And she died from medical complications. But it still doesn't matter. She had 7 children that she left behind. Her youngest is 16 or 17 now, soon to graduate from high school. All her other children went to college, got their own businesses, and working. But Shonda had an illness that the Social Security company would not give her money. She had open heart surgery where they took her heart out and put it back in her body, and had other complications. And the doctor told her she could not work. But for some reason, the Social Security said, well, you're not getting any, we're not giving you any Social Security. That was my daughter. Just this week, this was my first wife, Rachel Vaughn, who was laid to rest on Thursday. I have 2 people that I love in my life, but it seems when death comes, it all comes in the month of June. This is the mother to my 3 sons, Kenny, Kevin, and Kenrick. I have their pictures and stuff on my page. And I wanted to thank all those that came along and gave condolences and sympathy cards and all the other things and flowers. That's 2 people I remember until the day I leave the universe and return from which I came. But I try to explain to people, we're not here to stay. We are here to do the will of the Father that sent us, and to the brother that died on the cross. That's Jesus Christ. Whether or not people can understand the way I think or the way I say things, it is what I believe. I'm no different from you. I love my kids, all of them. I got 15 grandkids. 15. I got 3 great grandkids. Great grandkids. Grandkids and great grandkids. God don't make no mistake. But we have to understand is we have to make it a better place for them. That's why you keep seeing me doing all this stuff. I'm not a rich man. I'm not poor. My value is in my family. My family is in my wife that I'm married to today, Alice Vaughn, who helps and support me in all the things that I do. But when it comes to things that we sometimes overlook, what a legacy is. This is my mother and father. They came to Portsmouth, Virginia. They were sharecroppers. They moved. They was born in my father was born in 1917. My mother was born 1915. No, I got it backwards. My father was born 1915 and my mother was born 1917. You know, those cougars out there. There were cougars back then. I ain't going to cut my mom no slack. She knows she was older than my dad, robbing the cradle. But I love both of my parents because they first loved me. We can talk about things. We can joke about things. But because of them, that's why I'm here. Because of the way they brought me up. That's why I'm still here. My father get off work, he didn't go out. Only time I went out was when I was DJing. Only time you would see me out is when I was working. I worked at GE for about 3 or 4 years, left there, well, got fired. I'll put it right. I ain't got no shame in my game, but I'm a good worker. The difference is I get fired because I'm a good worker. And I'm a threat to people when I work because I get the job done and they'll get me fired. So it won't make them look bad because they thinking the man's going to give me their position. Then I went to Colonial Steel Warehouse. I started on the day when they was on a strike, when the Teamsters was the Teamster Union was there. So I went in and I worked the first day, and the man was like, whoa. I mean, it was so many trucks. You know, I unloaded about 20-some trucks by myself and put all the fresh fruit in the back and take out the old fruit and put it in the front. And then when it was almost time to check out, the guy said, well, I'm going to help you. I'm going to come out here and help you put all the stuff in the box. I said, I already put it in there. He said, what are you talking about? All those trucks that came in, I put all that stuff in the box. And that's how I got my job. He said, the people that's striking, I ain't never had nobody do the work you do. And when they came back off the strike, and the man kept me, and I worked in every department there. And when I went to the wet line, where you get all your fresh chickens in, and they be shipped out to all the Colonial Store, grocery stores. And the guy said, hey, man, slow down on the line. You working like a slave. You need to slow down, man. We got 12 hours to do. I said, okay. I said, but I ain't working for you. I ain't working for the man that gave me the job. I'm working for my family. See, when I work, y'all think I'm doing all this just for some accolades? I work for take care of my family. So they can have a roof over their head, food on the table, clothes and shoes on their feet. I have worked for $1 an hour for 2 to 3 years. Work 40 hours, you get $40. And you get $40. No taxes, no Social Security taken out. Then when the man came down from Richmond, from the labor board, they're gonna go put a card in the time by the time machine. And when the man come, make sure you tell him that you're hitting the clock. Because the white young boys were getting $2.89 to $3.05 an hour. And we working for $1 an hour. So it's no job that I can't do. When I was young, you couldn't beat me because I'm fast. I'm trained mentally and spiritually. I'm not gonna let you win. I'm not fighting you. I'm not going against you. I'm going against the clock. That's why you can't beat me. You think it's about you. Oh no. I got a clock. I got a watch on. I say I'm gonna finish this in 30 minutes. One day I was signed up to go to Old Dominion University, take some courses, not, some art classes. I was late getting to work that day, and the supervisor told me that, hey, I said, can I get off early? He said, well, Henderson, you late. I said, but I got caught in traffic. I'm only about 15 minutes, but you're late. I said, okay. So what you got to get off to go to work? Why you got to get off so early? I said, because I got some business to take care of. And white people, and some may still do. Well, what kind of business? What kind of business you got to tend to? I said, it's personal. He said, well, since it's personal, you can't get off. I said, okay. I appreciate it. I went in there. He said, we had a lot of tonnage. And tonnage in a freezer where all your frozen foods come from. French fries is the heaviest thing because it's got 5 bags in it. 6 bags of 5 pounds. That's 30 pounds to a case. All the rest of them might be 5, 10 pounds cases. We had 300,000 pounds of frozen food. We had 8 people in the freezer that day picking the orders. So when the other 7 went to lunch, I worked my hour to make up for the time I was late. And when they got back, there was only one order left on the board. In an hour's time, I had picked over. In that hour, I had picked up 1,800 pieces by myself, lined it up in the cooling box so it wouldn't unthaw, and lined it up. So all they had to do was roll it on the trailers that came in that they had to be locked on. And I said, well, can y'all handle the rest? Which is about 2 orders left. 2 to 3 orders. He said, bro, you already did the bulk of the work. I said, I know, but he said I couldn't leave. He said, man, go ahead. Get out of here, man. We got this. We can't handle this. Don't even worry about it. So when I come in Monday morning looking for my time card, where I know it wasn't there. He took the time card out, my supervisor. I said, I don't have a time card. He said, yeah, I have it. We had to see the general manager of the warehouse. Oh, okay. What's the problem? Because I told you not to leave. I said, okay, what was the problem? Because I told you not to leave. So because I was in the Teamster Union and I was the shop stewardess for the produce department, we met with the warehouse manager. And he says, well, Mr. So-and-so told you not to leave. Yep. So why did you disobey him? I said, disobey him? I said, why couldn't I leave when the work was done? He said, what do you mean? I said, I already picked up about 19 or 2,000 pieces by 12 o'clock. By 1 o'clock. When the other people came in, they only had 2 orders left. And the rest, everything was lined up. and they were just waiting on the 2 tractors to put all the orders on. So he's saying, you picked up. I said, yes, sir. He said, so why did you have to leave? That was so important. I said, I didn't tell him, and I'm not telling you. I had some personal business to tend to. He said, well, it's a difference in him and me. I said, okay, you're right. I said, let me explain to you. A couple of years ago when I went to Mr. Whatever his name was, I asked him 2 to 3 weeks in advance, could I get off on a Friday? And he told me no. And I told him 3 weeks in advance that I was getting married and I wanted to be off. And he told me, you can't be off. So I didn't say nothing. I took off. I said I had to take off when he told me no about that. Don't you think when a man get married for the first time, that's important? Isn't that important? So he leans back in his chair, the general manager of the warehouse, saying, well, yeah, that's kind of important. But again, he's the foreman over there. He has to know. I said, okay, well, whatever you decide, let me know. That's all. So when I left and went back to work, my the shop stewardess for the Teamster were there. And he came back after the meeting and said, everything good. He said, whatchamacallit should have let you off. And I don't know why he brought you even to his office when everything was done. And you're not getting paid for the hours you clocked out. So that's what racism looked like. That's what black and white look like. You can't tell a white person what you ain't going to do. You ain't going to have no job. And if you do, they're going to make it hard on you. That's why I don't work for people, because they can't tell me what to do. When I take a job, I already know what my responsibilities are. I ain't trying to hear nothing else with nobody. With nobody. As long as I'm doing what's right, you're not going to come to me like I don't know what I'm talking about. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't play checkers. I play chess. And that's what we have to teach our young people. Stop playing checkers. We're losing too many of our precious commodity. Is our young people. They're the one with the knowledge and wisdom as we grow older. All the things our body done been through. The mental stress that we go through. The medicine and pills they have to take just to survive. I was almost blind for 2 years. Couldn't see. You see me up here, and I couldn't see until I had surgery last year. Cataracts. And retina surgery, where my eye was coming loose from the veins and everything that keeps it's called retina surgery to keep it intact. But God don't make no mistakes. We make mistakes because we don't talk about it. We don't make mistakes so our young people say, I don't want to go through that. I'm listening. That's why I do what I do and talk about the things that I talk about. I'm not looking for no pats on the back. I'm trying to get you to understand, if you love your kids, tell them the truth. Tell them the truth. Don't be walking around here like you got an attitude about something, because they are waiting for you to make a mistake. You go to city jail. That's petty. That's petty larceny. You're going to go there a couple of times. Even if you're in school, they can send you, put you in another school. That's on your record. But when you graduate, start using guns, talking back at the teacher, saying things that you shouldn't be saying, instead of reading your books and asking the proper questions. But I always get off track. But again, I wanted to talk about City Council Cash Green when he did his birthday party. It was at the senior citizen place with NBA Joe Smith, who came by, talked to the seniors, took pictures with them. Not only is he starting a camp for the youth, but he took pictures with these people. He didn't have to. He's an NBA, he's a celebrity, he's a star. NBA basketball, inducted into the Virginia Basketball Hall of Fame. He didn't have to, but he was there. He even took a picture with me. I was just getting up from tying my shoes. I might look short, but that's okay. He ain't had to do that to me. He ain't had to do that. Joe, you know you didn't have to do that. Looking all tall as me, making me have to look up to you. But it's all right. But you had to look down to me. I've been knowing Joe for a minute. He's a very nice gentleman. When you have, I study everything. I've been around a lot of things. I worked in the senior citizen place when I couldn't work. Me and my wife volunteered to work at the Centennial Senior Citizen place that was on Newtown Road, which is closed now. I don't have no shame in my game, but I know what it means for these seniors to see somebody that they see on TV. They're seeing somebody that played basketball on the screen and not in person. They were so excited to get pictures. Follow up on my Facebook page. So I do have more pictures. And it's all about NBA basketball player Joe Smith, City Council of the 7th Ward District, Cash Green. We have to understand is we all play a major role in everybody's lives. And sometimes we don't have money, but we do have time. An hour time or 30 minutes to stop by a hospital or a senior citizen place. And I said this yesterday when I was talking to some of the people that was there. The most ridiculous question we could ask people. If you could talk to somebody dead, who would you want to talk to? When you got all this history right here, living in the senior citizen place, and we want to talk to somebody dead. We can't talk to the dead because they are not dead. Don't you understand that yet? That's why Jesus rose on the third day, to let you know, as long as you believe in him, you are not dead. They got us believing we dead. That's why people want to be cremated, because they're afraid they're going to wake up in a casket because of all the things they may not be forgiven for. You know, you go to purgatory, read your Bible. Your spirit goes where God will judge you. And he makes a decision where he lets you, put you in hell, allow you to come back here, or he allows you to go on to another universe. Our universe is too big. The heavens are much bigger. Stop believing in death. Death is why our kids are dying, because they believe they're going to die someday. They'd rather have a gun in their hand instead of a pen. They'd rather have a gun in their hand than a book. And I know it don't sound right. I shouldn't be talking that way. But I got to, because I'm tired of losing loved ones. I know what love is all about. I know what it takes to get the attention of our future generation. We have to stop playing around. Their lives should be important to you as it is to me, and more so to you. Serena Mann. This young lady worked with young people. She got the Heavenly Hearts Academy over there on Pusher Boulevard. I worked with my sons when he was doing comedy and his friends who supported him. His classmates that came out to support him. Alex the comic. All you got to do is take some time out. We have to stop with this right here. The hands in the air. Which one is really asking for forgiveness? You got 4 people up there. 3 with their hands up as if you have to determine what they are doing. And the other one, the first one, is the one that's stretched out like Jesus Christ on the cross. And the other ones, it's got their hands up as if the police is telling them, put your hands up, you under arrest. Know the truth about what pictures can play on the psyche of our future generation. Our history is important. Our future is just as important. Believe that. We have a lot to live for, and they have a lot to give. Let me break for a moment to let you know what's going on in Virginia Beach.
Lululemon, good morning. Happy Saturday, y'all. What's up? I am on my way out to the beach for Juneteenth at the beach. I'm spending from 12 to 6. It's a lot of dope things going on. So pull up to the beach today, tomorrow, whenever. Just support. They outside all weekend. After this, I'm going to the cook-off. I'm spending from 7 to 9 at Waterside. Y'all pull up on your girl. I'm outside today. You know what I'm saying? Other than that, I don't have a thing. I hope you all have a beautiful, blessed day. Stay away from the negatives, hang with the positives, and just keep working until everything works out, because you know it will. God got y'all, man. Happy Saturday. Enjoy your day. Be safe, be productive, get shit done. And remember, you can't score without a goal, baby. If you miss that shot, just keep taking it. One, I'm going to go in. You got this. God got you. Enjoy your day. Pull up for a vibe. It's going to be vibes all over the city, y'all. Support, be safe, no violence, okay? Love y'all.
And don't forget to let her know you heard her right here. I love that young lady right there because she's a DJ. I trained DJs that before there was lady DJs in a club back in the late 60s. And this right here,
calling me Unc in the comment section is crazy. But I remember growing up, like in middle school or high school, like you wouldn't even get a girl's number if you didn't have an iPhone. You texted a girl and a green bubble popped up, you got blocked like the next day. Now that I've grown up, I realized how dumb and superficial that stuff was. The most prominent time I remember, I used to go to the skating rink a lot. I was helping this one really cute girl. I taught her how to skate backwards. She was impressed by the moves, and by the end of the night, she was basically hinting at me to make the next move, and I completely froze. I told her I'll be right back. I went to go change my skates into my shoes, and I left out the back exit, and she was waiting for me the entire time. And then I swear from that moment on, she didn't like she hated me. And what's awkward is that the only reason why I didn't even try to interact with her is because at the current time I didn't have a phone. I had to use my mom's phone if I wanted to text or call anybody. I didn't want to get clowned for trying to pick up a girl using my mom's phone.
Ain't no doubt about it. Don't forget, he's coming back real soon to be on the Best of the 757 Community Talk Show. Like I said, it's getting close to that hour. I got to run. But remember to love yourself and put God first, and everything else is going to fall in place. It doesn't matter what others think about you. It's what you think about yourself. I'll see you on Tuesday. Tuesday, I'll be back. I will be back. And remember, my guest will be the one and only Serena Mann. Serena Mann, She will be here on Tuesday. Until then, this has been Captain 85.